You guys are doing a great job promoting this book. This book is a very big deal. Mick Foley's first
Mhm.
autobiography. Have a nice day. It was the first book on a major publishing deal for
Right.
WWE at the time. And so that he requests Vince McMahon to come out. Vince McMahon with a fresh dye job of his hair here looked phenomenal. And and he tells Mick Foley says, The Rock is a number one contender and Steve Austin's number one contender, but I should be a number one contender. And that, he's willing to fight for it. And he uses McMahon's own line and one of my favorite phrases from this era. He says, The Rock is afraid and he's lacking testicular fortitude.
Hmm. Yep.
Love that phrase. And this immediately prompts The Rock to come out. Huge pop, super over. And he says, these aren't just any testicles.
Right.
These are the people's testicles.
Yeah, that was great. I want to always give a shout out to Kerwin, the director, and whoever the technical switcher was, because it's something you always take for granted is the timing of the music pops. And this era was always like, it's like, it's like dialogue between someone and just the timing is always now.
It's perfect. I agree with you.
It's perfect all the time. And especially in these few shows, just like now.
Yeah, and it's perfect. Never like a second off or two.
Right.
It's just right at the moment it needs to be.
Yep.
So The Rock accepts Mick Foley's challenge. And Foley says, a nice little teaser, that he meant everything he said about The Rock in his book. Now, I recall that he actually didn't have flattering things to say in the first book about The Rock. They have since made amends. I believe he thought that the people's elbow was a stupid move, which, I mean, that's not really that big of a dig. But the most interesting part was that he was upset that The Rock never came to check on him after the infamous Royal Rumble match where The Rock delivered 13 or 15 chair shots to Mick Foley's head. And they'd since made amends on that. But I like that they're using, that you're integrating this into the storyline now. Like this is the part of the story, which is so great because here, this book, Mick Foley's book, exists in kayfabe and out of kayfabe. Like the book is not in kayfabe, but you're taking something that happened out of kayfabe and bringing it into the kayfabe. My favorite thing.
That's like what we talked before about, like the motivated camera or what have you, and and always was a staple of McMahon to like put in truth as much as you can. And the lines being blurred, and sometimes it got confusing. And even in later eras, you're like, wait, sometimes I didn't like when, like, even one of the WrestleManias, I think after one of the matches, they came out and were like, oh, I'm fine. We all know that was just a match, where I thought like, well, at least keep the kayfabe through the whole WrestleMania, like you're hurt, or you know what I mean? There's certain that sometimes bothers me. But in this case, yeah, there's a lot of things. And again, that's the pace of the business. Like, this is great. The book is great. Where people, if you were to bring that up during the moment, you're like, hey, did you ever realize that this is kind of simultaneously breaking kayfabe, but not? You'd be like, what? Fuck it. Don't, no time. And like what's working is working. So it is an interesting wrinkle. It's always like, sometimes you got to like, yeah, that is something. But yet for the show, whatever, a lot of people and also it's kind of good, if you want to read the book and be wizened up by the book, go ahead. I'm sure a lot of fans, it's amazing. I wonder, not unlike yourself, I wonder the percentage of people who don't read books and weren't into reading read that book. It's probably huge. You know what I mean? Probably did more for literacy, people, than
I agree. Yeah. And it's a good read. I recommend it still if you haven't read it.